Hello, my name is Father Lawrence Jagfeld. I am a Franciscan friar of the Sacred Heart Province, headquartered in St. Louis, Missouri, and I am also the administrator of CUSA, an apostolate of persons with chronic illness and/or disability. The C cycle of the lectionary actually has the accounts of all three so-called epiphanies in it. We have already celebrated the feast of the coming of the sages from the east, the wise men. We have celebrated the feast of the baptism of the Lord. This Sunday, which is the second Sunday in ordinary time, more correctly the second Sunday in the first week of ordinary time, it is the feast of the wedding feast of Cana, upon which we will give our attention. The gospel, therefore, is from the Gospel of St. John, because his gospel is the only one to record this event. There was a wedding at Cana of Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. Jesus and his disciples were also invited to the wedding. When the wine ran short, the mother of Jesus said to him, "They have no wine." And Jesus said to her, "Woman, how does this concern affect me? My hour has not yet come." His mother said to the servers, "Do whatever he tells you." Now there were 6 stone water jars there for Jewish ceremonial washings, each holding 20 to 30 gallons. Jesus told them, "Fill the jars with water." So they filled them to the brim. Then he told them, "Draw some out now, and take it to the head waiter." So they took it. And when the head waiter tasted the water that had become wine, without knowing where it came from, although the servers who had drawn the water knew, the head waiter called the bridegroom and said to him, "Everyone serves good wine first, and then when people have drunk freely, an inferior one. But you have kept the good wine until now." Jesus did this as the beginning of his signs at Cana in Galilee, and so revealed his glory, and his disciples began to believe in him. This story has so many different possibilities in terms of how we can talk about it that it would really be impossible to speak of every one of the facets of this gospel story. I would like to focus our attention on the whole issue of believing in Jesus, because this is, in St. John's Gospel, the primary emphasis. You might remember that at the very end of the Gospel, the author writes many things Jesus did while on this earth, but these have been written so that you may believe. This story begins that process of coming to believe in Jesus. This is the second chapter of John's Gospel. And already we have experienced someone not believing in Jesus. In the first chapter, when Nathanael is called, he says, "Can anything good come out of Nazareth?" He doesn't believe that this is the Messiah, even though one of the disciples has come to him and told him that he has found the Messiah. And immediately after this, we will have another experience of disbelief when Nicodemus comes to Jesus in the middle of the night to question him. He leaves without coming to believe. So this story, sandwiched between those two examples of unbelief, is really the beginning of people coming to believe in Jesus. And who is the first to believe in him? You know the answer to that question already. His mother is the one who gives us the example of someone who believes. Even though she has been rebuffed by his comments, even though she has been told that it is not his hour yet, she tells the waiters, do whatever he tells you. She does not lose faith. She continues to believe that Jesus is who she knows him to be. And that faith is rewarded when he does act, and he acts in a rather spectacular way. John points out that the jars of water that are standing there are ceremonial, that they are to be used as part of the ritual. Jesus changes that water into wine, not only changing the water, but also changing the ritual, changing the whole question of which covenant we are now living in. This act replaces the Jewish ritual of ablutions and gives us this new wine. As Jesus acts in this way, the gospel story concludes by telling us that this is just the beginning of his signs. John's gospel contains only 7 so-called miracles, 7 being the perfect number. This is the first of those 7s in which Jesus will manifest himself as God among us. So this too is another epiphany. Jesus is revealed to us as the wonder worker, as the one who can make all things new. For more information about CUSA, please visit our website at www.cuson.org.